So, YouTubers, thank you for watching my videos. It's really appreciated. But now I'd like to take the opportunity. I'm feeling a lot better, by the way. Thank you to everyone who watched my old video and replied and left a comment in my other story video about what I'm going through right now. So I just thought I'd take the opportunity and explain who I am, because most of you don't know me. So my life story starts off when I was born, obviously, like everyone else would say if they're trying to explain their life. So I was born in Asia, in Thailand, a small place it's south of China a bit, right beside Vietnam. And what happened was I was born, but I wasn't like any normal kid. I wasn't as, no, like, I wasn't, I'm not like, nah, it's hard for me to explain, but I'm not how you think I was. Like, I didn't, like, you may expect, oh, he grew up in a nice family, he had everything, he had a nice house. Wrong. For the 2 first years of my life, I spent them in an orphanage. And I was, I mean, I was I was a happy toddler. I mean, I was still happy, but I mean, sometimes I used to get lonely, I used to cry, but that was always fixed because there was this amazing lady, Jenny, who would always come and take care of me. She took care of me for about 9 months, and I remember back in December, what happened was the orphanage was closed and everyone had to take someone home. She was the one who brought me to her house for Christmas holidays, and I remember this huge dog who I was scared of when I was so small, and I used to always just I used to try and avoid the dog. And then eventually I got used to him, so I started to pet him and he started liking me a lot. And when I was gone back to the orphanage, I asked where the dog was sometimes, so she just really didn't know how to answer that because the dog, I wasn't going to see the dog again. And anyways, what happened was I grew up, and this is way farther. When I was 1 year and 9 months, that's when I got adopted by a family in Canada. They are, they were both born in East New Brunswick. They were born in Grand Falls and Moncton. And what happened was they couldn't conceive a baby, so they were pretty sad about that. But one day they got a phone call saying that their baby was ready. That I was ready for adoption. Once they came, I would never forget that moment when I jumped into my dad's arms for the first time. I never think I've ever seen my parents smile that much as when they first saw me at that orphanage. And that was the first time when I really felt loved out of the 2 years I was in there. Other than Jenny, she was pretty much all I had in the orphanage, but other than that, a real parent's love that'll always be there for you. They even wrote a poem dedicated to me, and I actually kept that poem with me for for the years. I got it around here somewhere, but I'm not going to get into details too much. Anyways, I went to Winnipeg when I was about 2, and when I got there, boy was I surprised. I was in Thailand. It doesn't snow over there. When I was 2, I got there. I got to Canada in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and it was cold. I did not know what the white flakes were on the ground. I was just exploring. And what happened was, I reached out to touch them, and I was freezing. I did not like it. My parents always told me. I noticed because my parents always told me I always used to whine. It was so cold outside because I was used to the heat. And eventually, what happened was, my dad works in the RSMP and my mom was a secretary, but my mom had to give up her job when I was about 4 so that she could take care of me, and she couldn't take me to day camp anymore. She couldn't take me to daycare. And my dad had a promotion for his job, so he decided to move to Ottawa with us. And that is when I made my new friends. That is when I moved onto the street where I made a bunch of new friends and where I actually felt like I belonged. And then I started school when I was 4 until I was, I was there until I was like, I'd say 7 or 6. And then for that, what happened was, when I was 6, I had it pretty rough at school. I had bullying. I mean, people always used to pick on me because of my color, or, oh, you don't fit in, you have a big nose, or something like that. They always used to make fun of me because of my race, or say, oh, why don't you go back home, and for that, I broke after a few times, but then after that I just thought to myself, no, I'm not gonna take this anymore. So I started to answer back to them, and what happened was they just stopped mentioning it, and I grew up with a good friend of mine, and he used to always protect me if someone would always be on my back on my case, and he would always tell them to back off. And then the third grade was pretty disappointing. I had to move again to Edmonton and restart from fresh. And in Edmonton, I made a bunch of new friends. Edmonton, Alberta, I made a bunch of new friends at my new school. And what was wrong was that I couldn't speak English as well as I can right now. And what happened was this girl rings the doorbell, and she's about my age. She's about like 9. She starts rambling like I am right now. She's just like, "Oh hi, how are you? I guess you're the new kid." And after that, I was just there thinking to myself, because I really could not speak English. That was the only thing that was coming out of my mouth. Um, uh, hey, salut, no. So I was like speaking in French. She couldn't understand. Then my poor mom had to interfere. My cheeks were getting red. And what happened was she explained to the girl that I couldn't understand English. And we became good friends. And then eventually what happened was we moved back here in Ottawa and resumed from where I left off. And this time I was in 6th grade. I have been here for about 4 years, and I finally feel like as if I found my home. I mean, I'm part of the theater group. That's the second place I can call my family, and I really love it here. I know what I'm going to do in the future. I want to become an accountant and just, have a normal, happy life. I'm in depression, ish, because I'm getting better because of my therapy, but other than that, I just thought I'd let you know this is my story. Thank you very much for listening, you guys. Love y'all.